Approaching the age of 60 feels like crossing a bridge into a new world. Have you ever paused to consider what truly matters? As we age, what once seemed essential begins to fade away. It's as if we're doing a soul cleansing, leaving behind everything that doesn't add value to our lives. Do you feel that? Imagine a life where the pursuit of others' approval is no longer a burden. The freedom to live for yourself is a powerful achievement. And what about material possessions? Do they really define our happiness? What you own may be less significant than the experiences you gather. Have you ever felt the lightness of letting go of what you don't need? Embracing imperfections invites us to find inner peace. Instead of comparing yourself to others, why not celebrate your own journey? Toxic relationships? They are a burden we don't have to carry. The future may be uncertain, but excessive worry only robs us of our serenity. And what about the fear of aging? It's time to view growing older as a treasure trove of wisdom, not a loss. What will you let go of today to live more lightly? Let's explore this together. But first, please subscribe to our channel and comment below with your city, so I can see how far our video is reaching. Freedom from approval. Know that there is a heavy weight in living for the approval of others. For a long time, I felt like I was always trying to please, as if my happiness depended on external validation. The problem is that this relentless quest for recognition can imprison us. It's as if we are dancing to someone else's tune, forgetting our own melody. Liberation comes when we decide that our inner voice is the only one that truly matters. When I began to free myself from the need for approval, I realized that life took on a new flavor. The decisions that were once made based on what others might think were now guided by what I truly desired. This shift brought a sense of authenticity that I didn't even know I was losing. It felt as if every step I took was lighter and more genuine. Authenticity, after all, is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. I learned that external validation is often superficial. People's opinions can change at any moment, and what is deemed right today may be questioned tomorrow. So why allow our happiness to depend on something so volatile? True freedom lies in accepting who we are, with all our nuances. This journey of self-discovery has made me stronger and more secure in myself. The path to liberating ourselves from others' approval isn't easy. There are moments when insecurity knocks at the door, and it's tempting to revert to old habits of seeking recognition. However, when this happens, I remind myself of how far I've come. Life is so much richer when we live for ourselves, and this is a lesson worth repeating and remembering constantly. Liberation from external approval allows us to live fully. Authenticity connects us with others on a deeper level, as they see who we truly are. And this genuine connection is far more rewarding than any superficial compliment. It's a dance between freedom and authenticity, and the more we dance, the more we learn about ourselves. Material letting go, detaching from material possessions, is quite a challenge. For a long time, I accumulated things that, honestly, held no real value in my life. Each item carried a story, a memory, and it felt difficult to simply leave them behind. However, as I began to part with what wasn't essential, I discovered new space, both physical and mental. It was like opening a window on a sunny day, allowing the light to pour in. The decision to simplify life goes beyond just donating or selling objects. It's a process of reflection on what truly matters. I started to focus more on experiences rather than possessions. Travel, gatherings with friends, and small daily adventures became the real treasures of my life. Each moment lived with intensity carries much greater significance than any material item I could own. What surprised me the most was how the act of letting go became a reflection of my inner self. As I got rid of things I didn't need, I began to feel lighter, freer. This sense of freedom is contagious. The more I let go, the more I wanted to continue. From that point on, life turned into a pursuit of meaningful experiences, moments that are truly worth living. Moreover, this practice of decluttering taught me to value what really matters. Relationships, leisure moments, health, and well-being became priorities. Material things can be lost or damaged, but the memories and connections we create are eternal. What remains in our essence are not the things, but the experiences we live and the people we touch. By adopting this philosophy of life, I realized that happiness isn't about having, but about being. Being grateful for the little things, for every exchanged smile, for every shared meal. This is the true essence of a meaningful life, and material letting go is just the first step on this delightful journey. Acceptance of imperfections. Accepting imperfections is one of the greatest challenges I have faced. Society constantly bombards us with images of perfection, creating standards that are nearly impossible to achieve. For a long time, I found myself trapped in this trap, chasing an ideal that deep down didn't exist. However, over time, I learned that beauty lies in imperfection, and that realization is liberating. When I began to embrace my imperfections, I realized that they are what make me unique. Every flaw, every mistake, every scar tells a story. These marks are proof that I am alive, that I am learning and growing. Instead of trying to hide them, I started to display them with pride. This shift in perspective brought a new lightness to my life, as I recognized that I don't need to be perfect to be loved or respected. Accepting imperfections also helped me to be kinder to myself. Rather than criticizing myself for not meeting unrealistic standards, I began to practice self-compassion. This doesn't mean I stopped seeking improvement or personal growth. On the contrary, it encourages me to evolve in a healthy and realistic way. Excessive self-criticism only generates stress and anxiety, while acceptance brings peace. Moreover, when we accept our own imperfections, we become more empathetic toward others. The pressure to be perfect is a struggle that everyone faces, and by acknowledging this, we can offer support and understanding to those around us. This genuine connection fosters a sense of community and belonging, which is essential in our lives. Accepting imperfections is a way to celebrate life in its entirety. Happiness does not lie in being perfect, but in being authentic. Each of us is a work in progress, and this journey, with its ups and downs, is what makes life so rich and fascinating. By embracing our imperfections, we create a space to be truly ourselves, and that is an invaluable gift. Valuing individuality. Sometimes I find myself reflecting on how easy it is to lose oneself in comparison with others. Society in general seems to push us down this path where we constantly measure our worth through the eyes of others. I remember a time when I would spend hours on social media, observing the achievements of friends and acquaintances, and instead of feeling happy for them, I'd feel a pang of insecurity. Thoughts like, why am I not doing that too? Or, what am I doing wrong? Often accompanied me. The truth is that each of us has a unique path. When I finally realized this, a sense of freedom washed over me. I understood that life is not a race but a personal journey. Each experience lived, each mistake made, and each victory achieved are fundamental parts of my own story. It makes no sense to compare my chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 10. What truly matters is what I am building in my own narrative. With this new perspective, I began to celebrate my accomplishments, no matter how small. I started to appreciate the little daily victories, like completing a challenging task or even taking time to care for myself. This shift in focus made me feel more secure and, in a way, more satisfied with the life I'm living. I learned to be my own fan, applauding each step of my journey. Individuality should not only be accepted but celebrated. Each of us has talents, passions, and experiences that make us unique. When we free ourselves from the pressure to be like others, we create space to explore our own potential. And that, in itself, is a gift we must give ourselves. By valuing my individuality, I realize I am contributing to a more diverse world, where everyone has something special to offer. Comparison is a thief of joy. When we set aside the need to constantly measure ourselves against others, we can truly live. I can feel fulfilled and happy, knowing my path is unique, and that is enough. Celebrating individuality is a daily practice, but the rewards we reap are invaluable. Life is much richer when we embrace who we truly are. Choosing positive relationships. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned throughout my life is the importance of surrounding myself with people who genuinely add something positive to my journey. I remember a time when I maintained some toxic relationships, either out of fear of being alone or a misguided idea that I needed to be nice to everyone. The problem was that those relationships drained my energy and left me feeling down, without realizing I deserved so much more. When I finally decided to distance myself from those people, it felt like a liberation. The sense of lightness that followed was indescribable. I began to value friendships that nourished me, that made me laugh, that supported me in tough times, and that celebrated my victories. This doesn't mean I abandoned people who also face their struggles, but rather that I sought a healthy balance in my relationships. By making this conscious choice, I realized that the quality of my social interactions directly impacted my emotional well-being. I have friends who inspire me to be a better version of myself, who challenge me to grow and who stand by me through all phases of life. These relationships are a true support system, a safe space where I can be authentic and vulnerable. It's also important to know when to say no. Sometimes people may not understand why we let certain relationships go, but that is part of our growth process. Learning to let go of what doesn't serve us is an act of self-love. And when we do this, we make room for new connections that truly matter. In the end, life is made up of moments and memories shared with those we love. Choosing positive relationships is an essential step toward creating a happier and more meaningful life. With each new encounter, each new friendship, I feel like I'm building a world around me that reflects who I am and who I wish to be. Living in the present is one of the greatest challenges I face. I've always been someone who worries excessively about the future, planning every little detail of my life. However, this constant anticipation made me lose sight of what was happening around me. It was only when I started practicing gratitude that I realized how much I was wasting precious moments of life. I remember a specific day when I decided to take a walk in a nearby park. Without the pressure of checking my phone or worrying about what I should be doing next, I began to soak in my surroundings. The scent of the flowers, the songs of the birds, and even the smiles of strangers reminded me that life happens now, not in some uncertain future. This small shift in attitude made a significant difference in how I perceive my days. Practicing mindfulness became a powerful tool for me. By focusing on the present moment, I was able to release the anxiety that used to accompany me. I discovered that conscious breathing, for example, is a simple yet effective practice that helps me anchor myself in the present. When I'm present, I can truly feel life pulsating around me, and that is simply wonderful. Moreover, gratitude plays a fundamental role in living in the present. Instead of getting lost in thoughts about what I don't have or what I still want to achieve, I've started to value what I already possess. This doesn't mean I've stopped dreaming, but rather that I've learned to appreciate the journey with all its ups and downs. Every moment becomes an opportunity for learning and growth. Living in the present is not just a romantic idea, it is a daily practice. By doing so, I've discovered that life, with all its imperfections, is much richer and more meaningful. I am learning to flow with what life presents me, and this has brought me an inner peace I never thought I could achieve. Every day is a new chance to live fully, and I am determined to make the most of each one. Prioritizing personal well-being. Sometimes I catch myself thinking about how many times I've set aside what I truly want just to please others. It's as if my happiness is always on the back burner, waiting for someone else who often doesn't even care that much. The relentless pursuit of pleasing everyone becomes a vicious cycle, where I lose myself trying to fit into the molds that others expect of me. In the end, it's me who suffers. This is a reality many of us face, and it's time to put an end to it. Breaking free from this desire to please is a vital step toward personal well-being. It's essential to understand that we are not responsible for the happiness of others. Each person has their own journey and choices. When I begin to prioritize my happiness, I notice that the decisions I make become more authentic and true to myself. It's as if a heavy weight has been lifted from my shoulders. Life starts to flow more smoothly, and the choices I make reflect who I really am. One important point I've learned is that prioritizing my well-being doesn't mean being selfish. On the contrary, when I am at peace with myself, I can offer the best version of myself to the people I love. The positive energy I radiate impacts those around me. It's a virtuous cycle. The more I take care of myself, the better I become for others. This realization transforms how I view relationships and, in a way, life itself. Deciding to prioritize my happiness also involves learning to say no. At first, this may seem difficult, but over time it becomes a liberating skill. It's an act of self-love and respect for myself. When I decline invitations or obligations that don't resonate with what I want, I feel a wave of relief. It's as if each no is a yes to myself, a step toward authenticity and self-awareness. Prioritizing personal well-being is an ongoing journey. There are days when external pressure feels unbearable, and the desire to please resurfaces. But whenever that happens, I remind myself of the importance of taking care of me. This practice becomes a daily exercise in self-love, where I learn to recognize what is essential and to deconstruct the expectations others place upon me. At the end of the day, what truly matters is how I feel about my life and my choices. Acceptance of aging is a topic that evokes various reactions in each of us. For many, the idea of growing older is surrounded by fear and insecurity. For a long time, I viewed aging as a loss of youth, beauty, and vitality. However, as the years went by and I experienced more of life, I began to realize that aging is, in fact, a journey rich in wisdom and learning that should be celebrated. Over time, I learned to appreciate the stories I carry and the lessons life has taught me. Each wrinkle, each gray hair tells a story. They are marks of laughter, tears, achievements, and challenges I have faced. Instead of seeing these marks as an indication that I'm losing something, I started to view them as trophies of a life well lived. With this shift in perspective, aging transforms into a natural and beautiful process full of meaning. Another thing I realized is that aging brings with it the opportunity to live more lightly. In youth, we often worry too much about what others think, about the need to conform to standards that aren't even ours. As the years go by, that concern diminishes. Growing older has taught me to be more authentic and to value what truly matters. The freedom to be who I am without masks is one of the greatest gifts that age has given me. Moreover, aging can be a gateway to new experiences. Contrary to the notion that life becomes monotonous, I find that with maturity comes a curiosity to explore new passions, hobbies, and even new career paths. It's as if life renews itself with each new phase, allowing me to rediscover the joy of learning and growing. This is a liberating perspective that inspires me to continue pursuing what makes me happy, regardless of age. Accepting aging is also an act of gratitude. Looking back, I'm thankful for every phase of my life, for every friend I've made, every love I've experienced, and every challenge I've faced. This gratitude helps me live the present more intensely and embrace the future with hope. Aging should not be seen as a burden, but as an opportunity to connect with the essence of life and the richness of the experiences it offers. As we reach our 60s, we are invited on a new journey, a chance to rediscover what truly matters. Have you ever stopped to think about how many things we set aside because of others' expectations? It's time to let go of those ties and live the life we've always wanted. Imagine waking up every day with the freedom to be yourself, without worrying about what others think. How would you feel if you could detach from the past and embrace the present? Every experience lived, every laugh, every tear has shaped who you are today. Don't let the fear of aging overshadow the beauty of the wisdom acquired. What would you like to achieve in this new phase of life? And remember, the true value lies in the connections we form. Who are the people around you? Are you surrounded by love and support? By nurturing these genuine relationships, your life transforms. So how about making a list of what truly matters to you? Let's embark on this reflection and rediscovery together. Life is a beautiful journey, and the best is yet to come.